Here I'll talk about two important concepts, including metaphor and synecdoche, which are frequently used as figures of speech in pragmatic analysis. These two terms are regularly used in our literary and linguistic studies in order to draw our author's meanings in a deeper manner. Metaphor is a kind of figure of speech, or you could say it's a part of figurative language, and in a relationship of metaphor, one thing stands for another. Usually a metaphor ascribes to an entity a feature or quality which, literally speaking or generally speaking, it doesn't have. For example, we relate certain things to other things which they do not have in real. We ascribe a term beauty with moon in our Eastern cultures. When we want to say somebody beautiful, and we resemble that person with moon. We say he is like a moon. So in such situations, we are actually giving metaphorical description of that person, and we're ascribing some quality of moon to that person which that person actually, literally speaking, doesn't have, though we are trying to create or trying to highlight a certain feature or probably the beauty of that person. So for that matter, we use metaphor. So literally speaking, there is no particular literal relationship between the thing and the metaphor used to describe it or denote it. In such situations, the relationship between the person or entity which is being described through a metaphor is only of a conventional nature. There is no essential connection between the sounds or in the literal meanings of the words which are being explained through a metaphor. Metaphors are not restricted to any particular type of word or phrase. Rather, they could be chosen from various aspects of linguistic elements. We can see metaphors in form of a noun or noun phrase. For example, when we say John is an iceberg, so we are using iceberg as a metaphor to reflect on the strength of John or some aspect of his personality. Similarly, verbs can also be used metaphorically. For example, in the sentence like Flintoff drilled the ball to the boundary. Here the verb drill has been used as metaphorically to show the strong hit by a cricket player. Then sometimes a complete sentence may also work as a metaphor. For example, if you look at this brief conversation on the top of this slide, you could see John asks, "How is the banking system these days?" And Mary replies, "Big beasts are stumbling and falling all around." So you could see the entire sentence is metaphorical in nature, and it is reflecting a certain phenomena which is happening in some kind of business activity. Let's move to synecdoche now. Synecdoche is also a figure of speech in which we see an expression that denotes part of something is used to refer to the whole. I mean, if we take an entity, so we take one part of that entity to reflect on or to represent the whole. For example, we could say steel or use steel to describe a whole sort, or we could use we could use a wheel to describe whole car. For example, if the wheel of your car is jammed or is punctured, you might say my car is out of order. So in this way, you could see only one part of the car is out of order, but that one part has been described with the whole entity or whole object. So in synecdoche, we see that a part sometimes describe a whole, or a whole might describe a part. We could look into some more examples. For example, mouth may be used to represent persons. For example, in a sentence like I have got 60 hungry mouths to feed. Here it doesn't mean mouths only, rather 60 persons. Or an expression denoting a whole is made to refer to a part of that whole. For example, all of Scotland is up in arms over the poll tax. So in this example, you could see all of the Scotland. It's not possible that the entire, each and every person in Scotland, including buildings and all other objects in the country, would be up for that protest. There would be some or many people who would be protesting, but the author or the speaker here says all of the England. And what we can see is that some part is being reflected by the whole. Another form of synecdoche may be seen where we use an expression denoting the material that something is made from to stand for that thing. For example, the wood or willow can be used to represent the bat. You might look at a cricket bat and say this is a fine willow. That actually means a bat. So the object of which that particular bat is made of is being used to represent the real object. The term synecdoche is also used in situations where an expression denoting a smaller class is used to refer to a larger class, and that's probably is a case where the definition of synecdoche expands a lot, and there would be so many things which would be included in synecdoche. And in this way, we might see that various polysemic relations might also fall into the definition of synecdoche. For example, the word chicken has two meanings. One is that particular bird to which we call chicken, and if we can see in our daily use, we also use the term chicken to refer to the meat of that chicken. So chicken spans over both entities, the meat itself and the bird of which that meat is. So therefore, all these things may be in a broader definition of synecdoche may be regarded as a figure of speech which is named as synecdoche.